Have money to burn to supersize and grow your business. Sharon Horne-Ellstrom here. Our idiom or expression today is money to burn. And I'm super disappointed that I couldn't find a flame filter. I love those flame filters when you got the hell and fire and brimstone behind you. Every once in a while, they just give me a little giggle inside to use. But not today. Today, just orange, that orange glow of money to burn. This expression has been used since the late 1800s, and it of course means that you have so much money, you could light it on fire, you could burn it right up. Burn's used in other expressions as well as having an excess of some kind of resource, like time to burn, money to burn, time to kill, things like that. So what does it mean when it comes to supersizing and growing our business? Well, I'm going to share 7 common ways, some of the most common ways I've seen in my 40 or so, probably the last 25, 30, working with other businesses in different industries. Worked at different industries and businesses, but more on a consulting and coaching basis for the last 25. So let's talk about the 7 most common ways I've seen people burning money, meaning wasting money. They might not have it to burn in their business, but they're wasting it. And if they were to tap into these resources, they could use them to actually grow and build and supersize their business. Now, you can think today, how do you become prosperous? How can you find the prosperity that you want in your business? We've talked about ways to supersize and grow your business before. If that's something you want to talk about, we can talk about that tomorrow or any other time. But today I want to focus on the things not to do. Why? Because if we eliminate the things not to do and focus on the things to do, we're much more likely to create and build a supersized, prosperous business. So what are some of the most common mistakes I've seen of wasting money in different businesses? And remember, I work with all different type of businesses. My favorite are manufacturing businesses personally, but I've worked with all different types of businesses. And these common ways of not paying attention to our resources and burning up our money unnecessarily go across industries, across disciplines, and across industries. So number 1, wasting money. Of course, wasting money is acting like we have money to burn. What are ways to waste money and any other resource? Any way that we're wasting resources, not doing things in an efficient or effective manner, not having processes and procedures to automate systems or to make sure that we're doing things in a consistent manner to get consistent results so that we can continually improve those processes. All of those things are wasting resources, wasting time and money. I guess related to that would be mishandling, mismanagement of resources. They're separate but similar, right? There's a lot of cultures and company cultures and I learned this in corporate America. I worked for a very big family-owned corporation that never, until I came there, did bidding process. They never had a bidding process. They never bid out or got estimates of what things were going to cost. They just hired the family relative or the family friend or somebody that had been recommended to them, which worked fine as they were growing. But as they wanted to scale up and really supersize, they had to have processes and systems because there were areas where they were paying quadruple or more, sometimes 10 times more for products and services than they should have been because they didn't know what it should cost. They were just paying the family member or the friend or the acquaintance or the business associate that they'd always dealt with. And they were literally leaving hundreds of thousands of dollars extra going out the door, if not millions of dollars going out the door, because they didn't have a bidding process. So not having a process, this is a key example of not having a process, and you're wasting resources, paying too much for products and services, and costing your business a ton of money that can be used to roll back in and grow and build and supersize your business. Not shopping around, that was bidding process. Not having backup suppliers or providers or procedures. I learned this in my Italian food business. Sadly, one of my primary suppliers, and I kind of had backup suppliers, but I'd used this supplier for a really long time because I loved him. Well, he ended up committing suicide, and we were a relatively small business at the time, and we didn't have a good bid out process of backup suppliers. So he was our primary supplier for a lot of the key ingredients for manufacturing Italian food, and I had to jump through hoops to find other vendors and other suppliers. Now, fortunately for me, I had relationships with a lot of other vendors, and so it was relatively easy to do, but I still had to be very creative with it, and we had to look at our recipes and processes and procedures then to incorporate different sources of raw materials and how they impacted our process. Because if you have a manufacturing process, you understand that the suppliers of certain things from different sources have different qualities, and they impact your end product differently. I tried to save money and order parts for mixers and some other equipment that we had from China. Now the specs were the same, but the products didn't work in our products. They didn't perform at all, and I ended up having to send them all back and order the parts from the original manufacturers like I should have in the first place, and had those on backup. So big lesson learned there. Sometimes we try to shave and cut corners and cut costs on things, and we find out that that doesn't always work. And a lot of times it does, but sometimes it doesn't. Another place where I've seen a lot of people make mistakes is hiring or teaming up with the wrong people, the wrong parties, the wrong entities. One of the biggest mistakes and the most costly things that we do is hiring and adding people to our team. And if we make mistakes in that, a lot of times I've seen organizations, and I've done this a little bit too, we'll try to help, we'll try to get them to fit into our culture, and we'll do all kinds of things to try to make the situation work, because we understand how important the relationship and the process of hiring and bringing people into our culture is. But one of the biggest mistakes I've seen people make is they hire the wrong people, they trust the wrong people, and then as soon as they know that there's a problem, instead of dealing with the problem and ending the relationship, they drag it out, which causes more problems, which causes more dysfunction in the culture, etc. So those are about 7 of the areas where I have seen people in businesses waste money, burn money. I could go into others as well, as, people misappropriating money in their business and using it for personal things instead of business. Don't see that much anymore. People have gotten pretty smart about, all right, let's separate our business and the money. But in smaller startups, it happens a lot more often. That's it. Any questions? Love to know your stories about money to burn. And again, think about, how do you create prosperity and resources so that you have money to burn, meaning money to grow and build and supersize your business, not necessarily light on fire. Have an awesome day. I will be with you tomorrow with another financial related idiom for this month. If there's one you'd like to know the origin and the meaning and how we could possibly tie it to our business, hit me up in the comments below. Otherwise, I'll be with you tomorrow.